Good morning, evening, afternoon. Masati here. Welcome back to another live MOS on Sunday. Wow, it's been quite a month actually, XI month, right? And today we're wrapping it up. And we are returning to source. We actually have two guests on here as well that will be scanning live, and then we'll scan you all as well. So what we did was we spent the past November, the months, past weeks in November, kind of telling the story, the underneath story on how XI, started. It is a long journey. And I shared personal stories. One, the collapse, right? And then getting into clarity, and then into coherence, starting to understand it, and now the rise. And it's quite interesting that as we wrap this up, returning to source, that's what's happening in the world. If you look at it, right, everything is collapsing. I mean, we're talking everything. The financial system. I actually wrote a Substack article on how debt is being handled. If you take a look at it, I posted it on my Telegram channel as well, on what the US is trying to do with its debt. It's done it before. And basically what they do is it's a shell game. And every country does that. But what they do is like, hey, we'll have this debt. We have a shitload of debt. We can't pay it because it costs way too much. We'll never be able to pay it back, right? It costs way too much. And then what we'll do is we'll just play a shell game and we'll switch it around. We'll move some other assets and we'll make these like gold and crypto, worth more. And then basically we'll dilute our debt. All right. So and it's shocking. I mean, we'd go to jail, right, if we did that. But if you look at it, that kind of debt or that kind of shell game happens all the time. Look at you. Your parents did that to you. That's why you have the same diseases, same issues. Society does it. Right? Your lineage has done it. You've probably done it to your kids. I know I have, but then I woke up with XI and cleaned that up so they're not paying our debt. Hey, the debt stops here. And that's the key. Society or natural intelligence is asking us to go, hey, guys, and it's not a sin, by the way, unlike religions and so on like that, or other concepts of religions like spirituality and whatever's coming out, the new consciousness and all that, right? That, hey, you got to pay back. Basically, what it's really about is literally, consciousness is going to a higher level. It's becoming more efficient. It's time and space is becoming more efficient, and I talk about that. I've talked about that on the science side. I won't talk about it here, but overall, consciousness is asking, hey, before we have to go to the next level of consciousness, it's happened all the time, and throughout the millennia or billions of years actually. And in order for consciousness to go to the next level, the books have to be settled. Simple, right? The accounting has to be settled. Natural intelligence, the accounting in nature, the accounting gets settled right away. Humans, they have some lag time because of free will. Free will is kind of a bitch if you don't know how to use it. So what's happening now is obviously just that. It's like, hey, anything that you've pushed on over to somebody else or somebody else has pushed on over to you, that debt will have to be taken back. And that's what's happening for you. Okay. And so right now, what we started, gosh, about 10 years ago, 10 to 12 years ago, how many was with me back then? 10 to 12 years ago. The world is happening. That's what is happening to the world now. That collapse that I went through, that many of you went through when I started XI, that's what's happening to the world overall. So if you think of it, we're about over a decade ahead of what this reality is about. And this is where you all might feel, say, very different. You might not fit with society anymore. You might not like, say, what's happening, not in a distorted way. You just start to go, it's like, shit, I'm not that version of human anymore. Right. So, so, maybe you all were, say, pioneers. of what's happening. So a lot of you have been practicing XI. Um, I think will start to become pioneers or innovators, the next great innovators as this collapse happens. And as a note, it will happen just because the system has gone way too burdened. Again, the debt has to be cleaned up somehow. Right. Um, all right, so we've gone into the clarity side. This is where many of you have become being very, very clear, and you're starting to see, like I said earlier, that you're running a very, very different pattern. And then as you start to say separate yourself, because we need referencing, spatial referencing, we start to separate ourselves. We start to become more coherent on who we are, understanding who we are outside of, your wealth, your religious values, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, if you are if you are defining yourself with those physical things, you can only stay at the physical realm. You have to define yourself outside of that space, okay, at a higher level, frequencies where those things don't exist in the first place. Right? That's then you start to harmonize, you start to become more coherent. Uh, as a note, quantum physics, quantum computers have the same problem of coherence. AI has the same quantum of coherence. Guess why? Simple. It's because we're teaching it human value structures, and human value structures are very incoherent. So today, the rise coming through, finishing up. Uh, this is where we're starting to see, especially in Command, Grow Rich and Happy. If you haven't signed up for it, you still got time for it. I know some of the classes are sold out, but some of the other ones are still available. This is where you're starting to find out that same mindset, today's sciences, today's religions, again, can only take you so far. The next level that we all have to go through is frequency. Only frequency can take you home, because frequencies are what exists on the higher realms on that. Okay. And this is again, you might have built success on effort, which is absolutely needed even in the frequency world, but you use effort very differently. You use There's nothing wrong with what you've done. I just want to make that clear. Right? XI dictates again that whatever that you're doing, again, there's nothing wrong with it, but it can only take you so far. Notice the sciences these days, right? It can only take us so far before it starts to collapse. Okay. Notice your life. It's only taking you so far before you start to collapse. No matter what you've done, how hard you've sacrificed, and all those things. That's the problem. Your logistics can only take you so far. You have to go to the next tool and start to use frequencies as the next level up. Okay, the tools that you've used in the past, again, really fantastic. It's brought society this far. We can't use old tools for a new paradigm. It just doesn't work out. Okay, it just doesn't work out. So overall, success isn't something that you chase. This is where you start to align with it, and that's what XI is about. Exponential intelligence. This is where you start to actually say own who you are, own your identity outside of success, and then success and religions and all that stuff that you say practice actually become a reflection of you, and then you do religions and everything else just proper. Okay, you do love proper, and this is how the universe helps you perpetuate you, because you're in resonance with it. Otherwise, it'll start to destroy you because you pick up a lot of debt in that sense. So take a look at that Substack article, and you'll start to see the difference. So this is the next evolution, and today we're going to be we're going to talk to two individuals live here. If you want to sign up for that, Megan, I don't know where they can sign up for it, but my team can post it on the chat for you, and then we'll go to you. We'll go to you and scan your frequency. As a note, I'm not a psychic or anything like that. I basically read just like AI does. I read your algorithms, your frequency algorithms, not not the words that you use, not what Google picks up, all that metadata that they pick up on you and so on like that. Nothing like that. It's just your frequency. That's the next level of clarity for AI, humans, machines, everything that's out there. Again, it's all about understanding frequencies. All right. All right. So let's bring these lovely individuals on board. Who are we going with first? Is it Sally? Alex? Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Sally, how are you?
Hi, Mars. Good, thank you. I've got my little son here as well. It's just hopped on my
Oh,
lap.
honey, so cute.
Yeah,
Uh, um, anything specific you want to work on, or whatever that I
just
see? Either or.
whatever you do, I'll just leave it to you.
Okay. Just take a breath in and work on your son. How old is he?
Five.
He's 5. He seems to not say a lot of attention to this reality. If that makes sense to you. Does that make sense to you or no? Uh,
Mm, But
he seems like you might have to tell him to do things a couple times. He might not like pay attention, say at school, so to speak. He might be well preoccupied. Does that make sense to you?
what
Okay.
about yeah? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we'll leave that there. And then for you as well. Have you ever noticed that there's always something very, very deep that you can't access, but it kind of guides you or pushes your life in a certain
Mhm.
direction? Does that make sense? No matter what you do, no matter what plans you have, and I'll give you physical examples. And by the way, as I'm working on Sally and her beautiful kid, beautiful son, I'll be working on you as well as a group if you're running these patterns. Okay. All right. So take a breath in again, hon. So again, that deal is like no matter what you say set your life to do to you could have like the perfect game plan for your life, and then something goes awry, something something changes, something else to say dictates the way your life runs. Does that
Mhm.
make sense to you? No
Yeah.
matter what you do, no matter what decision. In fact, the more of a decision like I am going to do this, damn it, the opposite kind of happens for you from what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Does that make sense too?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Just a little bit or
I could be wrong. You could be right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you might be seeing it from a different perspective. All right. So is this your second marriage?
No, no, I'm not married, but we've been together for a very long time.
Okay. So is this your second relationship that you've had?
First proper real one. We've been together about 30 years.
Okay. Your first proper real one. So you had one before that then.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
about 4 months. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that one, that person is still impacting you,
Mm.
if that makes sense for you.
Yeah.
That is they still stuck on you. So let's clean that out. And why that lasted, say, 4 months before you got out, that same pattern, say, cycled into this relationship for you as well. So if that makes sense for you, I know
Yeah.
you kind of new to me, you new to XI, so you're seeing it from your level perspective. I'm just seeing it as an outside observer. Like say for example, Sally, that and take a breath in and just notice your neck area. Say for example that your friends see a lot of things, and then but you don't. In
Mm.
fact, I think a lot of people tell you a lot of things, and you might not agree with them, but they're seeing it from an outside or
Mm.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And have you ever noticed that you're never really in life? For example, you're always kind of an observer type to life. You you
Absolutely.
you 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 might go through an experience and you go, yeah, I'm feeling that. Does that make sense to you? You're not
Hmm.
really in the experience, you're like outside, removed from that experience. Does
Hmm.
that make sense to you?
It
Okay.
does.
Yeah. Even in the session, that's the way you are. So you're Okay, and I'll tell you why, Sally. Take a breath in. So for your son, extreme levels of that, people will go, well, he's autistic or he's ADD, ADHD, and so on like that. He needs counseling, he needs therapy, he needs, whatever that's out there. In fact, basically, he's just duplicating you, Sally. Your life is here, for example. It's physically here. You're about, say, 10 steps behind life, if that makes sense for you. You're
Interesting.
literally like an observer of your life. That's why nothing feels really like real or like say real passionate for you. You're just kind of walking through life. Does that make sense for you?
It really does, Mas. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're getting home. All right. So so take a breath in. So there's nothing wrong with you at a physical level. It's just how you operate or how you render yourself in space and time. Okay. So I know that's like, what the hell is he saying? No worries. I'll just like snap you into say where you need to be. Okay. And overall for you scientist type, and if you follow this, Sally, and if you don't, that's fine as well. Take a breath in. Okay. So what's happening for you is time and space. Time is happening. Time is happening here, for example, right? It's always a constant. Time is always a constant. But you're always like, say, again, say a few seconds behind time, or sometimes you're like a few minutes behind time. This is where somebody might say something to you, and then they might say it like, say, like 30 seconds before you even answer. It's like, oh, if that makes sense to you. There's a delay, for example. Does that make sense to you? How that
Yeah.
works? So again, you're supposed to be here. Your body is here. Your consciousness that processes it is about, again, about what did they remember? About 9, 10 seconds behind. It's just you're actually trying real hard even now to try to like stay coherent with that what I'm saying. Does
Mm,
that make sense? Same
absolutely.
same thing with your son. So when he goes to school, the teachers will go, "Why is he slow? Why can't he catch up?" uh and it's just like he's hearing it and there's a delay, and then you hear it, then you process it, then you feel it inside, and it's like, damn, right? So there's literally like a 10-second delay, Sally, for
Yeah.
you. So take a breath in. Do you mind if I just like put you back into where you need to be? Okay.
100%, please. Yeah.
Okay. So where do you live?
In
uh
New Zealand, in
New Zealand.
Wellington. Yeah.
Okay. What's your culture? I
Um, I'm
Irish?
originally Welsh. Well, yeah,
What
Welsh.
culture? Irish? Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, that culture, it's kind of interesting. Um, they're a bit disconnected from time. And there might be a lot of tragedy, but in that realm or in that space, they connected with, say, altered states, or in a deeper consciousness that wasn't beneficial for them. That's all. So in your family, were they like religious or highly like superstitious, spiritual type people?
Um, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, the reason why I say that is like they would believe, and again, those things are real, but from a science point of view, not like how religious defines them. So in a sense, w- there's there's consciousness that are fragmented for you. This happens in a lot of places where there's been war. Okay. Um, there's been war, and it fragments time and space. You look at Germany, for example, you walk in there, and again, the city's like fragmented. The people are kind of, again, offset or fragmented. Take a breath in again. Um, if you look into your son's eyes, he's actually here,
He's what?
um, more
He's here.
present. He's more and more present because that he feels safer being present. He might be scared of what's out there because if you're disconnected again from who you are, from again where you should be in time and space, it becomes fearful. And so
Mm.
he's always kind of like, again, a little delayed or a little fearful. So breathe in. Just notice your spine. I have to ask you something too. At 14, did something happen to you, huh? Was there like
For,
a fear of death or a divorce or
yeah,
something like
we moved back to Wales and I got really, really sick. I got, yeah, and I was bedridden for about 6 months.
that? Okay. Yeah, it's almost like you nearly died.
Mm,
So in that instance, on when you're 14, and if you and just think back, later on, you'll get memories as like, oh, so when I see you at 14, again, you basically stopped living for a bit. Time kept going on, for example, and then your mom might have been super scared of you dying or whatever it is, that kind of deal, that kind of feel.
mhm.
And then it just time stopped for you because again, it's a death space, and then your physical life kept going on, and that's where, say, the disconnect happened for you.
Interesting.
Does that make sense to you? So take a breath in. All right. Yeah, people are saying, wow, you both look so much more present.
Good.
Yeah, it's like you don't look, you look like you don't have to try so hard to be here and just be here. Again, kids who are like so disconnected, again, this is where people give them, the medical community would give them, medications and all that stuff. It's really, that's very distortive. So breathe in again. Let me just if you don't mind, I'll lock you and your son in. So you can't say disconnect if that's okay with you. Some of the side effects is that you'll feel some kind of like almost um I don't know, about 16, 17, 18, you might feel I don't know, you almost feel like you couldn't get out of your life or something. I don't know if that
Mm,
makes sense to you. Um,
yeah,
where you wanted to escape your life. Does that make sense to you?
yeah, back then, yeah.
Yeah. So that's another version of you wanting to escape your physical, say, boundaries. And again,
Mm,
it's not uh, well, a couple things. One, you're out of time. And the reason why that you're disconnected is that, again, wanted to escape life because there was always another, say, identity or presence, if you want to call it, or um, another timeline that is running for you. Okay. I know you might not understand this. Take a breath in. Basically, overall, your life is not your life. So if your life is not your life, then you'd want to escape your life. And then what you've done is you've acclimated yourself to go, I guess that's just the way it is. So overall, it just, you just have that disconnect. Breathe in again. Uh, Okay. And you'll actually start to see, Sally, that you'll be so present. You'll actually start to say you're holding on to, whatever, making food and then go, oh, wow, I'm actually making food for myself or
mm,
preparing food for my son and you'll actually look at your son and it's like, oh, wow, I'm really present. Your son will start to look at things like he's seen it for the first time, like he was like an infant. So, and again, you look very, very like open and really, really here now. So
I feel it, yeah.
please reconnect with us and see how you feel. You'll
Mm,
feel like you'll actually have your life in, say, you are actually going to feel your life. Emotions are going to accentuate. So happiness, sadness, anger, whatever it might be, it'll accentuate for you, but you'll actually start to feel them in real time for you. Okay, which is really
amazing. Yeah. Oh, that's
yeah,
great. Thanks,
yeah.
Mark.
Take a look at some of the comments, and yeah,
Mm,
it's amazing. It's pretty amazing.
great.
Yeah, your son might not know what's going on with him. It's like, damn, what happened? But in a very short time, you'll see him very alive, so to speak.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Great.
and very, very different at school. All right,
Mm, lovely. Thank you so much.
you're still welcome. Man. You take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. We'll go to the next caller. Is it Jamie? Hi,
Hi.
hi, Jamie. Anything specific you want to work on, or how long have you done XI, or are you new to XI?
I'm not new to XI. I'm not new to your work, although I haven't really done a lot of the actual
Okay.
work.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of want to dive into my marriage that has been sort of on hold or stuck for a while. I've got 4 kids, one who's a teen, all the way down to a 5-year-old. So I'm a busy mom and
Yeah.
just a lot of trauma.
Yeah. Jamie, do you ever feel like you're always in a loop, always in a cycle?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. No matter what you do, it's like shit, you get the same results over. It's like, well,
Hmm.
I'll try this. And you try it, and it just kind of starts to work, and then all of a sudden you cycle back down and you get the same bottom line. Does
Yeah.
that make sense to you?
Mhm.
How old are you, can I ask? How old are you?
46.
46? Okay. You seem really young, which is great. That's, one benefit. But the underlying reason on why you look so young, Jamie, is because you are cycling time. Okay. Kind of like the last caller where she was just like out of time and you could kind of see her in her face, like she's not really completely present, till later on she became present. You basically like cycle time. So when you're a kid, you're probably kind of like stubborn, I would say. A stubborn child, for example, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I've been told I have very, very bad memories of or I mean, I don't remember a lot of my childhood or really what
yeah,
I was like when like under 11.
exactly. Well, the reason why is again, this is more of a time function, not a psychological function. So even as a young child, from what I'm seeing, is basically, it's like you're for you, which is different than the last caller. Basically, time is moving you forward, right? Or a situation is moving you forward. You're moving into a situation, but you don't want to go there. It just doesn't seem like it was a very safe environment for you to be around when you were younger. Does that make sense to you? So a lot of kids basically go, shit, you know what? If I'm going towards that, because kids, especially before the age of 7, take a breath in on. Just notice your upper back. I don't know. Do you have issues with your spine as well? We'll do some physical issue. I'm not a
Yeah.
doctor at that, but do
Well,
you
I
have?
mean, I have pain. I don't know what specific issues I have because I never go to a doctor, but I do have a lot of pain reoccurring in my back.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll work on that as well. Again, not a doctor, but we'll see what happens for you. It's almost like you have a little curve from your spine, from what I'm seeing. Anyway, okay. So you're a little kid. Okay. You're growing older. Okay. By the moment, you're getting older and older. And basically you look at your mom and dad and you go, I don't want to turn into my mom. I don't want to turn into my dad. So you start to slow time down. And then basically whatever they tell you, they go, hey, honey, let's go do this. And you go, no. Okay. And then this is where you might look stubborn, or you might look like you're always, no matter what your mom said to you, you would probably say the opposite. Does that make sense for you, especially when you're a teen? Okay.
Mhm.
No matter what it is. And then later on, it's like, why it made total sense. Why did I say no to my mom? And this is all that stuff. So take a breath in, huh? Okay. Again, and this is where a lot of parents go, God, I gave everything to my child. I did everything for my child. I gave them the best resources. Why are they fighting against me? Basically, they just don't want to turn into you. Simple. Okay. So, Jamie, basically, you have been fighting all your life not to turn into your parents, but then as you age, you've kind of turned into your parents. You're kind of getting into that. It's like shit. So by the time you were 27, 28, 29, 30, about 30-ish, 27 to 32, around that time. This is where is that where you when you got married? When did
Mhm.
you get Yeah.
I got married
Basically,
at 26, I think.
yeah. And then by the time you got to 30, 32, it's just like, it's basically, it's like, damn, I recreated my family life with my relationship with my husband. Does that make sense to you?
Mhm. Mhm.
And now you're like, you're basically getting pulled into the ground with this relationship. So, and if you get pulled into the ground, there's a point that, you can't get pulled anymore because you're so solid. So this is where you go, wait a second, take a breath in and just notice your spine. I'll help you line it. So Jamie, this is where you would go, um, hey, I don't want to go deeper into the relationship. I just want to stop time and do it right. But you can't stop time. So this is where you are right now. It's just like uh, you don't. It's almost like you don't want to even see your kids grow up, for example. That makes sense to you. Not like you want to disappear, but it's like, no, I just want to stop time and then reset it properly and then move forward. Does that make sense to
Mhm.
you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So breathe in. Are you sure you want to do that?
Am I sure I want to stop
Yes.
time?
Are you sure you want to reset your life? Okay.
Yeah.
So the consequences of that, anything that your idea, because your whole life till now is literally been about fighting against time. Okay. So in this case, honey, what's going to happen for you is basically it's like if I'm pulling on a rope, you're pulling against me, and then I let go. You'll just like fall. Okay. And then you'll stumble a bit. You're one kid, you're one child. Your oldest is 17, you said?
Mhm.
Who's the second oldest?
Makiko, my son is 14. He's my only son.
Okay, so him. So your oldest is female?
Mhm.
She feels like a masculine frequency, from what I sense to you, if that makes sense to
She's
you.
very strong energy. She's very confident and strong.
Yeah, from a masculine presence, because she kind of fights against you, not to be, and there's nothing wrong with you, hon, but basically you're distorted and you're disorienting her, by the way. When she sees you, she basically senses what I'm trying to explain to you, but she doesn't know how to do it. So she just like, I am here, damn it. And that's basically your oldest daughter. Your son, he feels a little feminine to me because you wrap around him, so to speak, if that makes sense. Because let's see, take a breath in, just notice your spine again. Um, and your husband just is not kind of like in the picture, so to speak, with the kids or you. So it's like you almost like wrap around him as a masculine identity, almost like a replacement, if that makes sense. For which actually messes him up because he's only 14. Um, so uh, eh, so it's a female dominant over him. So he becomes like kind of like submissive, a submissive masculine. So let's get rid of that as well. Um, breathe in again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. So what'll happen for you, one, is that the cycle that you've been running since you were, I want to say like 6 or 7, and you're a very bright person, by the way. You're very intuitive. You know what should be happening. That's the problem. A lot of people like you. It's like, I know this should be happening, but why is my life this way? You've been asking that question pretty much since you were 6 or 7. It's like, I want to be here, but why am I going in this direction? Does that make sense for you?
Mhm.
Basically, your
Yeah.
whole life pattern is like that. So that is the cycle where you think the next version of you is going to be okay, and then it turns out to be the same. So that's the pattern that I'm breaking. If you want it to break, basically, I'll put you back on track of where you should be. Okay. And then this is where things have to break so you stay on track. Now, I can't do some of this part's for you, the psychological part. So when you feel really, really heavy, when you feel like the burden of your life, like full force, because in the past you've tried to escape it. In this case, you'll feel the heaviness or the burden of your life. Okay, just face it and you go, yep, in a very short time, I'll go through it, I'll weather through it. And again, in a very short time, um, what'll happen, that pattern will break for you. And then you can never go back to your old cycle. Is that okay for you?
Yes.
Okay, so breathe in, hon. Just notice this area here, the upper bone structure here of your ribs, and then your spine. How are you feeling, by the way?
I feel better. I mean, I was a little just anxious for the session in general, so I'm feeling a little less anxious and calmer.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's not just psychological, huh? You'll actually, you're very powerful. You just didn't have the right tools. You didn't have the know-how. And so what I did was give you the know-how to stay on track for your life. Okay. And this is where your children will start to awaken as well. And then they'll help perpetuate your new self. So they'll look at you like almost right away. Give it a couple hours, but your kids will look at you. It's like, shit, mom's very different, and they'll even express that to you. Okay, so go. Oh, what are they seeing? That's different in me. How can I perpetuate that more? Okay, don't go. They don't know what they're talking about. Don't deny it. Just go. Oh, they might be seeing something from this session. I want to perpetuate that more, or how can I perpetuate that more? And then with you and your husband, things will start to like break apart. Right. Uh, uh, the things that need to break apart so you can actually see each other for the first time. You kind of married somebody kind of like your mom. No offense, but I just see that same pattern. But anyway, those things start to break apart, and then you guys decide on whether you want to stay together. That's up to you. But I can't give you that decision. Does that make sense? But as you
Mhm.
clean up, because say that, for example, you're sitting on the fence with this relationship. If you don't clean up your patterns, Jamie, it'll recreate itself on another side. That's all. So in this case, what I was helping you with literally is just like disconnect, becomes become the Jamie that you always wanted to become, and then this is where you get to make your own life choices. Did all that make sense? Do you have questions? Okay.
No, not really. I'm definitely on a path where I'm cleaning up my act and, um, just cleaning up a lot of habits and all of that. And I guess, yeah, it's just hard to see whether, everyone's going on that path with me or whether my husband is really making any changes or, if that's,
Yeah. Well, in XI, again, like I said, if you don't make the changes, he won't make the changes. So you become again the change maker in your family, and then things have to things literally change. And most changes that people make are at a psychological level. That's this whole month with XI literally is a psychological level. So at a frequency level, I initiated that change for you. So there's no way that you can't make a change, Jamie. Things have to break apart, things have to change for you. And at first it's going to be a little hard, but once you get into the pattern, you'll go, thank God that it's falling apart. And it's just like you clean out so much bullshit, especially with your kids, between you and your kids. Because again, a lot of the inherited patterns that you gave to your kids, your husband gave to your kids as well, they all start to say delete from those patterns as well. And you'll start to look at your kids and go, oh my God, I can't believe they inherited that aspect of me. And this is again where a lot of stuff goes away. Okay.
great.
Good stuff, honey. You're so welcome. All right. We'll move on.
All right. Thank you.
You're so welcome. All right, guys. We are back, guys. Again, the biggest thing for us all is many people want, Many people want, their husbands, their spouse, their life to change. They want their government to make the changes for them. They want their religions. It's like, my religion's not working. I'm going to go change. I'm going to go try psychedelics. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. But what happens is that they don't change their internal state. And that's where XI literally changes your internal state for you. And that's the key. Okay. So if you want to be scanned, we'll scan you quick. This one, and if you're new, say you're new, and if you're not new, don't say that you're new. It's just let's see here. This one, what was it? Stacy Rodriguez, 53, 59. For me to come and process yet, I am getting huge resentment from my daughter and direct rejection. There's much more which you would see in a one live you pick me up. Yeah, so not exactly sure what you're asking, but overall I'll just read you. So since that last time I scanned you, hon, a lot of things fall apart, just like the last live caller. A lot of things will fall apart for her, by the way. And it's a good thing, because all those things that fell apart are not true. Simple. If they're not true, things will fall apart in your life. That's the way XI is. Some people love the things. It's like, thank God, it's falling apart. That way I can go do something else. Some people will not like it, and they go, well, things are falling apart for me. I better go back to my old stuff. Well, if you go back to your old stuff, don't say that XI didn't work for you. Just that you went back to your old stuff. Anyway, for you, Stacy, what's happening is that your daughter is resenting you at a level, because you both are awakening from whatever that we did with XI. You both are awakening. She's actually seeing, so she's resenting you in a good way. Okay, she's actually seeing you, and she's like, oh, I don't want this from mom. I don't want this from mom. I don't want this from mom. So it's not nothing that you are doing physically or psychologically, but at a frequency wise, she doesn't want to turn out to be like you. Okay, there's distortions. You might be a nice person, you might not be, but overall, there's good things, there's bad things. So your daughter's looking at you, and it's like, shit, okay, I see mom's distortions. So instead of like pushing back and feeling sorry, whatever, for that, basically ask your daughters like, hey, you know what do you resent in me? And she might not answer it as clearly as what I can see, but overall she'll tell you all those things. Basically, you lived a life that that you didn't for was completely fulfilled, or you missed out on things that you should have had, and they were right there for you, but for some reason you lost out. So your daughter, or the way you raised your daughter, basically is like, there's things that she wanted or she could have done easily, but for some reason you said no, or the husband said no, and so on, like that. Again, it's not about the situation, it's basically about losing out on life. Simple on that. So she's looking at that, it's like, oh, that's a pattern, it's not a situation. So your daughter's highly intelligent, by the way. So I would ask her, it's like, oh, do you see the patterns? So again, when she explains things, start to see underlying patterns on why stuff happens the way they do. Okay. And then this is where you might feel more lost than ever, because you're chasing after, say, situations. But if you start to chase after patterns, the reason why you'll feel more lost, you'll see it's not like you're finally starting to realize how lost you've always been, which actually gives you more clarity. Okay, so the more lost you feel, think of it this way: you've always been that lost. Now you're seeing how lost you've been as you move towards clarity. Okay. All right. This one is it. Irene McGrath, 5204, would love a scan today, please. My progress. Can you disconnect my 20-year-old son and 19-year-old daughter from my familial energy so they can be their own people, yes. So that's what's happening already, Irene. A lot of times, guys, if you're going through XI, whatever that you're sensing or seeing at a mental level, it already happened, say 10, 13 steps before. So again, it's highly, highly important. Take a breath in. So what that means is you're already seeing, and this is um, uh, I forgot the words. You can actually say understand where you are. You where you are, Irene, is you're starting to observe the patterns that your your kids inherited from you, which is really huge, because that same pattern that you're seeing in your kids, you are releasing of you. Okay. So, and that's how you can see it. That's how you can sense it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So, take a breath in again, Irene. Let's just separate you even more. And as you disconnect from that pattern, then you'll start to see that your son and daughter actually start to disconnect from that pattern as well. Okay. So breathe in again. There you go. So Paula, WB2, Moss, I'm ready to level up, but change is always hard for me. What can I do next? Well, if you're ready, let's disconnect you if you're really, really ready. Breathe in, and you've gotten to the point with XI, Paula, where is it Paula? Yeah, Paula, where um you're getting pushed and pushed and pushed into where you have to make a decision. You what happens with you is like, well, I want to make this change, but I want to keep this and this and this and this. So you keep the old versions of you. You might even keep old relationships, just in case you might need them. You never close things off. So in this case with XI, you've closed enough off to go, okay, I need to make that decision, and this is what you're asking. So yeah, let's disconnect even more. This is where also physically you might get rid of a lot of things that you just like hold on to, so to speak, especially at a frequency or emotional level. Breathe in, and this is where everything will be clean for you. It's a clean slate for you. Okay. um, okay, we'll move on. Please, can you scan my progress? Vera 1111. Yeah, so Vera, it seems that there's like a mental disconnect with you. You're always like outside or in your head too much. You're not in your body at all. And maybe, that could be for some reason, maybe you got abused or whatever. Your body didn't feel safe for you. So you let go of all your emotions, right? You got too hurt, too damaged, so to speak, back in the day. And now it's like, yep, I'm just in my head. This is kind of reminds me of those people who've tried so many relationships and they go, well, fuck it, I'm just going to turn celibate. That kind of pattern, right? If things didn't work out for you, and then, well, and then you just escape. But you're in your head now. The next level is like beyond your head, and again, it doesn't really work out. Also, I also see that in your family there might be, say, some mental instability where as they age, they basically become an empty shell. So this is where grandma's sitting there, and she's sitting there, but she's just not there consciously, right? So in that scenario, so that's all part of that process. So take a breath in. You're starting to step into your identity, so to speak. You're starting to come in. So I'll just pull you into your identity. Sometimes when I do this for people, just note that some of the memories on why you escaped, why you escaped yourself in the first place. Well, those things will come up, so don't escape again. Start to say resolve the problems. Okay, you're totally safe for you. Breathe in, Vera, and anybody else listening, whether you're listening to this live or listening to on a recording. Okay. All right. This one would love a scan for avoidance and getting ignored patterns. Thank you. Sure. This is it all seasons? 888. Yeah. Well, think of it this way. you're not completely connected to who you are. So when people look at you, they can't really connect with you because you're not really there. There's like a huge block, so there's no resonance in you. This is where people might think that you're really cold. People just don't really feel you. There's no sensor. You're not like sending out vibes that people can pick up. So once if people can't pick up on you, they just like literally disorient you. So for some reason, you did a great job protecting yourself, but you've done such a great job that you've secluded yourself. And again, it's almost like you feel like a walking hermit that is just like the thing is, the walls around you are so thick, hon. And another thing with that, when you start building walls, this is basically what Jordan Peterson does, by the way. He builds walls of knowledge. You build walls of security. That's the only difference. But when people build walls like that, okay, what they do is they keep building. They built the outside circumference, so they can't build anymore. But their process is building walls, right? So what they have to do is they have to build internally, and obviously, they build internally. The space for them becomes compressed, and eventually they basically like literally can't move. Jordan Peterson, just he can't move because of his, say, religious knowledge, which he has a hell of a lot of. But again, it didn't fix this one thing for him. For you, it's the same thing. You're just protecting yourself. It's like, oh, that situation didn't work out. I'll just create it as a wall. That so I didn't never get into it. That's why you never get into those situations. But there are so many situations that you've closed off that there's no more situations for you, basically. Okay. So in this case, it's not about the situations that you get into, but the frequency behind the situations that you get into, or the person that gets into the situation. So what I was doing is I was talking, explaining, I was peeling those walls away. So you'll feel really naked. You'll feel like, oh shit, but then, so just stay there. Don't, because I can't do this for you. Don't create another wall. Just be an observer and go, and you'll be okay, by the way. And you go, oh, that's why. And then you start to notice the underlying frequency or algorithm on why things happen the way they did. So you don't close it off for you. You start to understand the pattern and you go, oh, that's why that happened. Oh, that's why that happened. That's why that happened. And then you get back into life. It's pretty easy for you. And so it literally, I think this one session will just like move you forward like decades worth of therapy or anything else that you would have done. Right. If I scan you guys, just comment in. Okay. I know I'm accurate, but it's good for you to understand that. Oh, yeah, if she feels insecurity, exactly. For whatever happened at a young child, I got rid of that for you as well. Also, this one is a gold yellow radiance. Hi, Masati. Would appreciate a scan. Deeply sad, left old, but not able to jump into the new me. Yeah. So take a breath in, hon. So um so this is where a lot of people might get stuck as well. New opportunities are showing up, but they're trying to drag the old identity behind. Okay. It's almost like you have two identities. Okay. So in this case, hon, this is a death experience for you. It does feel like death, by the way. Okay. Just so let yourself die, not your physical self, not your physical presence die. Okay. Especially if you have like suicidal patterns and so on like that. Again, you want to separate the death. This is the frequency death. This is the death of your old self, death of your old identity, and so on like that. So again, just allow that to die. It does feel like a death experience for you, but if you just again, all of you who are in this pattern, guys, if you just allow that piece to go, okay, I'm going to just settle in, kind of like taking psychedelics or anything like that. It's scary, but then if you just breathe through the process, it's like going through, the speed of sound. It's shaky at first, but then After you break through it, it's just like calm, and that's where you are. Okay, so I was helping you basically push you forward. Okay? This is interesting. I've been struck by lightning 8 times, studied native practices for 36 years, and started XI, and it's like starting over again at a very deep level. I'm new and would, yes. So Aaron, that's really interesting that you've been struck by lightning 8 times. So even those kind of things um, are like patterns. Okay, it's not just random events that you get struck by 8 times, right? It's not like God is mean to you or anything like that. It literally is that you have a pattern of getting struck by lightning, and it dictates that you get struck by lightning or electricity or something. This is the same pattern that, say, for example, women, they have like, I connect with women, and it's like, oh, I see that you've lost a few kids. It's like through abortion, through natural causes, whatever. It's like, yeah, it's like, oh, I see that your mother or your grandmother lost kids. Those are all again hereditary patterns. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you go back 1, 2, 3, 3 or 4 generations back, there was a person that got struck by lightning as well. So it's just like every fourth or fifth generation, that genetic, say, gene, I guess, getting struck by lightning, because all possibilities are encoded in your gene pool, by the way. So in this case, every third or fourth generation in your family, there's a person that gets the gene of going, hey, I get struck by lightning. And then this is how situations happen where it's so crazy. It gets into the quantum realm where you literally find yourself in the dimension of time and space where you get struck by lightning. So Aaron, the reason why, so that's that. So you've studied a lot of like mystics, things of that nature, which is native practices, which is really cool. They give you the surface level. Okay, so studying XI will blend in, say, the background. So because of the natives, because of their mindset, the simplicity back of their times and so on, even like Napoleon Hill. Okay, highly advanced. He wrote Think and Grow Rich, but because of his time, he couldn't explain, say, the quantum mechanics behind the situations or the success patterns that he saw successful people. So again, a lot of those mystics, a lot of those native teachings and stuff, sure, they're accurate, they're good, they're mostly accurate, right? They got distorted by, again, customs, culture, and so on like that. But for the most part, they're accurate. So, but they don't give you the underlying, say, method. Right? They show you, say, the baked cake. They didn't really give you the underlying ingredient. So with XI, you learn really, really fast. Okay, and that's why it feels like it's starting over, Aaron, but it's really not. Once you get into XI, and I would highly recommend doing Command Grow Rich, there's some other things that you can do as well. If you're new to XI and have studied, whether you're a scientist getting into XI, it'll give you the deeper patterns, especially if you're into quantum mechanics, quantum science, AI, and all that. I would highly recommend doing XI. Or whether you're studying native, you've been studying native practices, mysticism, and so on like that. It'd be great. It'd be a great course for Jordan Peterson, by the way. He would actually understand the deeper knowledge on what all those religions are trying to say. Anyway, so for you, Aaron, what'll happen for you? You've got the physical knowledge. This will open up, say, the underlying frequency behind what, say, those natives practice. Okay, so if you're ready for that, Aaron, and then we'll end with that as well. If you're ready for that, and for any of you who's ready for that, let's open that door, shall we? Guys, as we end, just celebrate the end of the last Sunday on November. Take a breath in. It'll just take a minute or two. We'll open up that door for you and for many others who are in that space, where you get to see the underlying, say, reason or cause or frequency, depending on where you are. Some of you are visual people, some of you are, other sensory perceptions like feeling. Some of you might hear things, but you'll start to see the underlying patterns. For example, for you, Aaron, you might see they practice this. Oh, this is why they did that. Okay. For some of you, for others, take a breath in again. Notice a line going right through the center of you. Put you in time. All right. For others, a person's talking and they're saying this and this and this, and then you see the underlying frequency on why they're saying what they're saying. Okay. Whether it's your friend, whether it's your politicians or whatever. Breathe. It seems like something clicked, right? Yeah. Comment in, right? Did something just click for a lot of you from what I'm saying? Yeah. There we go. There we go. Thanks, Stacy. Read Stacy advises he's very accurate. Yeah, exactly. Well, obviously, but anyway, been doing this for so long. All right. So, coming up, guys, in December is oneness. 10-day XI code program to oneness. For you, gosh, I forgot your name, buddy. So many comments here. I forgot your name, but that would be really good for you. It'll get you into if you're again, if you're a scientist, especially AI, or if you're into mysticism and deep, say, methods, even psychedelics, the oneness course for you all would literally like hone everything in. And this is where we go through, we go through Buddhism, Christianity, all those religions and pull out the underlying frequency on where those great masters gave that knowledge to you. So they give you the knowledge. I'm going to go in deep and give you the frequency behind that knowledge. And then it'll just make sense for you. All right, guys. All right, guys. As we end, happy end of November. Beautiful beginning for December. Join us next week. Tell your friends about it because this is how we transform the world. And please like and share this channel. Okay, subscribe. All right, guys. Notice what you notice. Notice the details. Peace.